No tanks roll in, no borders change, and no shots are fired. Yet a country can slowly lose control, not because it was invaded, but because it borrowed. In the modern world, power does not always come from armies or missiles. It comes from balance sheets, interest rates, and obligations written in fine print. Debt has become one of the quietest and most effective weapons ever created, not loud enough to cause panic, yet powerful enough to reshape nations. Almost every country now lives with it, and global debt has grown so large that it exceeds the entire world's economic output combined. These numbers sound distant and abstract, almost meaningless, until the moment they suddenly become real in everyday life. To understand how this works, imagine a household that earns slightly less than it spends each month. At first, the gap seems manageable. A loan covers the difference. Life continues as normal. The family upgrades their home, buys better appliances, enjoys small comforts, and reassures itself that future income will solve everything. But the cycle repeats. Each month, borrowing becomes routine, not an emergency. Over time, the lender stops caring how the household lives and starts caring only about one thing: repayment. Missed payments lead to pressure. Pressure leads to rules, and rules slowly turn into control. Now scale this up to an entire nation. Replace the household with millions of citizens, and replace the lender with banks, markets, and foreign institutions. The picture becomes far more uncomfortable because countries do not just borrow money, they borrow time. And time, unlike money, can never be refinanced forever. Governments promise that growth will cover today's debts, that tomorrow's taxpayers will handle yesterday's decisions, and that nothing truly dangerous is happening. But interest compounds quietly, regardless of optimism, elections, wars, recessions, or pandemics. At first, debt looks like progress. New highways stretch across the land, welfare programs expand, taxes stay low, subsidies increase, jobs appear. Politicians are praised for delivering growth without sacrifice, and voters are satisfied without asking who will pay the bill. But debt is patient. It does not demand attention right away. It allows comfort in exchange for future obligation, and it always collects. Borrowing today is not free money. It is a claim on future income, future taxes, and future choices, often signed away by leaders who will never face the consequences themselves. Decades later, a new generation inherits the bill. They are told to tighten belts, accept higher taxes, reduced services, and fewer opportunities, all in the name of fiscal responsibility. What once funded development now funds survival. Eventually, new debt exists only to service old debt, and what began as a tool becomes a master. As debt grows, something subtle but profound happens. Lenders gain influence without issuing orders. No foreign flag is raised, no constitution is rewritten, yet policies begin to change. Interest rates rise, currencies weaken, inflation eats into savings, prices climb faster than wages. Governments hesitate before making decisions, not because voters disapprove, but because markets might. Elections may continue, and speeches may sound patriotic, but real power increasingly lives in spreadsheets, credit ratings, and contracts written far from public debate. Debt does not care about ideology, culture, or intention. It does not care whether leaders are popular or sincere. It only cares about repayment. And once a country crosses a certain threshold, escaping this logic becomes extraordinarily difficult. Growth slows, choices narrow, and every crisis becomes more dangerous because there is no room left to maneuver. The nation appears sovereign on paper, yet its freedom to act is quietly constrained. History shows that empires rarely fall only to armies. Many weaken first through overextension, promises they cannot keep, and obligations they can no longer control. Modern debt works the same way, slow, invisible, and deeply binding. It does not announce itself as a threat, It presents itself as convenience, stability, and progress. Only later does the cost become clear. So the final question is not whether debt is good or bad, because debt itself is neutral. The real question is far more unsettling. How much control has already been quietly signed away, line by line, loan by loan, without anyone truly noticing, until the moment when there is no longer a choice at all?